This is the map of Brazil. If you look towards the north of the map, you will see the Amazon rainforest, the largest jungle in the world. Although the majority of the Amazon is found in Brazil, Peru and Colombia also share parts of it. Brazil is a country with an extremely diverse landscape. It is well renowned for its extensive forests. However, there are also vast wetlands, rough hills, pine woods, arid grasslands, enormous plateaus, and a lengthy coastal plain. The Amazon River and the surrounding jungles dominate northern Brazil. The Amazon is a network of many hundreds of waterways, not just one river. There are dozens of species in the river, including the iconic piranha and the boto or pink river dolphin, and it has a total length of 4,250 miles, 6,840 kilometers. The world's widest range of animal species can be found in Brazil. It supports 600 distinct mammal species, 1,500 different fish species, 1,600 different bird species, and an astounding 100,000 different insect species. The majority of the animal life in Brazil is found in its jungles, although the pampas and semi-desert areas are also home to numerous rare species. In the central western part of Brazil sits a flat, swampy area called the Pantanal. This patchwork of flooded lagoons and smaller islands is the world's largest wetland. Here live enormous anacondas, huge guinea pig relatives called capybaras, and vicious South American alligators called caimans. For thousands of years, people have been exploring the jungles of Brazil, and numerous terrifying discoveries have been made, from venomous beasts and ancient Brazilians who tore flesh from the dead and consumed their remnants. Join us as we explore 12 terrifying new discoveries in Brazil that change everything. Number 12. Snake Island, Brazil. Brazil has a number of breathtakingly beautiful locations like Iguaçu Falls and Lençóis Maranhenses National Park. The first appearance, Ilhada de Queimada Grande, which is located around 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo, appears to be another one of those breathtaking locations. Nearly everyone in Brazil is aware of the island, although the majority would never consider visiting it. Why? Because it's inhabited by 2,000 to 4,000 golden lance-head vipers, one of the world's deadliest snakes. Numerous local stories describe the terrible fates that awaited those who went into the shores of Snake Island, where these vipers' poison can kill a person in less than an hour. According to rumors, a foolish fisherman who had come to the island in quest of bananas was later found in his boat, dead in a pool of blood, with snake bites all over his body. A few people did reside on the island from 1909 through the 1920s in order to staff its lighthouse. Another local legend, however, claims that the last lighthouse keeper and his entire family passed away when a pack of snakes entered their home via the windows. The island's dense population of snakes evolved over thousands of years without human intervention, contrary to popular belief that the snakes were intentionally introduced by pirates in an effort to secure their wealth. The snake species that thrived here, which are believed to be Jararaca snakes, evolved differently from their mainland relatives some 11,000 years ago when sea levels increased enough to cut the island off from the rest of Brazil. Since there were no ground-dwelling predators for the snakes that became trapped here, they were able to multiply quickly. The main difficulty they faced was the lack of any ground-level prey. The snakes slithered upward in search of food, feeding on seasonal migratory birds that make the long trips to the island. Snakes frequently stalk their prey, bite, and wait for the venom to work before relocating their prey. The golden lancehead vipers, however, are unable to follow the birds they bite. Therefore, they have instead developed exceptionally powerful and effective venom, 3 to 5 times stronger than that of any mainland snake, capable of melting human flesh and instantaneously killing the majority of prey. Those who are bitten by a golden lancehead have a 7% probability of dying, and even after receiving medical care, they still have a 3% chance of dying. The venom of the snake can result in kidney failure, muscle necrosis, brain bleeding, and intestinal bleeding. If you dare, you can pay a visit to the island on your next vacation. Number 11. The Manaconda. A strange animal that some people believe resembles a portion of the male anatomy has been found in the Amazon. Brazil is home to some truly beautiful wildlife. However, it's fair to say that this snake-like creature is on the more repulsive end of the natural spectrum. This slippery creature is the Atratocoana icelti, known for looking a lot like, well, you know what. This repulsive serpent, which is uncannily resemblant to something quite rude, is located in the Amazonian waterways. Despite having the appearance of a smutty serpent, the reptilian snake-like creature is actually an amphibian, not a reptile. The girthy giant was first spotted in the Amazonian waters in 1968, and there have been no other verifiable sightings of it until a whole family was located in 2012. After the remarkable discovery, the creatures, which have a maximum length of over 1 meter, were catapulted into the scientific limelight, despite the fact that little is now known about these so-called penis snakes. The phallic amphibians that make up these girthy giants are extremely rare and nothing is known about them. Although experts are aware that the amphibious animals reside in the rapidly moving Amazon River and are blind, it is also speculated that it lacks lungs and breathes through its skin, although there is still no proof. It is also likely to eat worms and small fish. Since it was first noticed, the unusual creature's stunning likeness to the genital organ has been mockingly referred to as the manaconda. Contrary to Brazil's several hazardous spider breeds, this aquatic creature is completely harmless and presents no threat to any Olympians who are fortunate enough to come across one. Number 10. Brazilian wandering spiders. The Greek word phonutria, which means murderous, is the source of the name for the genus of Brazilian wandering spiders, commonly known as armed spiders or banana spiders. Being one of the most toxic spiders on Earth, it makes sense why it was given the name. Its bite, which releases neurotoxic venom, can be fatal to humans, especially youngsters, although anti-venom makes death less likely. The body size of Brazilian wandering spiders can reach 2 inches 5 centimeters, and their leg span can exceed 7 inches 18 centimeters. Because they actively hunt prey at night while roving around the forest floor without creating webs, these arachnids are known as wandering spiders. They can kill by ambush as well as a direct assault. They hide behind logs or in cracks for most of the day, emerging only at night to prey. They consume insects, other spiders, small amphibians, reptiles, and occasionally mice. One species of Brazilian wandering spider, Phonutria boliviensis, was the subject of research, and it was discovered that this species consumes both arthropods and reptiles. 96 prey species, including flies, beetles, butterflies, moths, grasshoppers, locusts, and crickets, were identified using DNA metabarcoding, a method that analyzes the DNA and RNA in a sample. A few of the female spiders consumed snakes and lizards as well. We expect nothing less, right? These spiders are known to be aggressive due to the toxicity of their bite and their scary stance. However, these actions serve as protective mechanisms. They only bite as a kind of self-defense when provoked, whether on purpose or accidentally. The venom of Brazilian wandering spiders is an intricate concoction of poisons, proteins, and peptides. After being bitten by one of these spiders, a person could feel the first signs, including intense burning pain, perspiration, and goosebumps. Within 30 minutes, symptoms would spread throughout the body and include convulsions, high or low blood pressure, a fast or slow heartbeat, nausea, cramping in the abdomen, hypothermia, vertigo, blurred vision, and excessive sweating related to shock. When bitten by a Brazilian wandering spider, victims are advised to seek medical help right away. In addition to injecting a possibly lethal toxin, the Brazilian wandering spider can bite humans, causing extremely painful erections that can last up to or more than 4 hours. Nitric oxide, a molecule that improves blood flow, is increased by the venom. Recently, the idea of including the venom in medications to treat erectile dysfunction has been studied in several ways. But we would beseech you not to go seeking for a wandering spider because you want to sport on a powerful erection. It might just be your last. Number 9. The Amazonian giant centipedes. For some people, discovering an unknown creature is unsettling, but discovering a real monster that is capable of killing or doing damage, particularly if it appears like this, is even scarier. The South American and Caribbean woods are home to the enormous, ferocious, and predatory Amazonian giant centipede, or Scolopendra gigantea. It has mastered precise methods for catching particular prey. It is capable of capturing, envenoming, and killing a variety of species. The centipede can grow to be 12 inches long, and its typical colors are red, yellow, brown, or black. It has yellow legs and dark stripes running along its body. Due to its great size, the centipede's diet may also include small vertebrates including rats, frogs, snakes, and lizards, in addition to arthropods. The centipede normally uses its strong body and numerous legs to grab and confine its prey before biting it with its venom to kill it. It has also been observed to scavenge when the chance arises. Their venom is hazardous to humans as well. Frequent side effects include excruciating pain, exhaustion, chills, and swelling. When startled by a predator, the Amazonian giant centipede is quite quick to retreat and moves away with astonishing speed. The centipede will lift its terminal legs if it is being followed in an effort to direct any attacks onto its rear end. The centipede uses these protruding arms to grab any creature that touches them before spinning around to pounce with a poisonous bite. After that, the centipede will keep running until it finds safety. What's with Brazil and poisonous creatures? Number 8. The 33-foot monster. A Brazilian construction site yielded the largest anaconda ever unearthed. Despite not having poison, anacondas are highly dangerous snakes. Anacondas can grow to be 20 feet long and several hundred pounds in weight on average. Large animals like deer and sometimes even jaguars can be killed by them. Although not particularly novel, their manner of assault is lethal. They are boa family members known as constrictors. These critters frequently lurk beneath the surface of the water, with the top of their heads protruding. They charge towards potential prey when they spot it approaching. The snake grabs them with their jaws and start winding around them. They will continue to constrict tightly until the victim is dead after they have stopped all attempts at escape. Constriction is dangerous on several levels, either resulting in organ failure in the prey or strangulation. In either case, the anaconda is difficult to avoid as it swallows its prey completely. This snake, found in Brazil, measured 33 feet long, 3 feet wide, and weighed around 880 pounds. Unfortunately, it either perished in the controlled explosion when they discovered the snake, or when it emerged and was killed by construction personnel. In either case, the biggest anaconda ever found was slain by humans. This indicates that no independent organization was able to accurately gauge or document the anaconda to support the reported size. Although there is a video of the snake, viewpoints might be misunderstood and recordings can be edited. Without adequate citations or evidence, there have been numerous stories of allegedly record-breaking anacondas. According to one account, the largest snake ever discovered was 27.7 feet long, had a 3-foot girth, and weighed more than 500 pounds. There is a good likelihood that the largest anaconda has never really been seen or measured. It's difficult to say what lurks beneath the waves or in burrows across the huge Amazon River basin when you take into account that humanity just unintentionally discovered the green anaconda that was discovered in Brazil. We never know what lurks in the depths. Number 7. Ancient giant tunnels. If you explore specific rock faces in South America, you would find odd tunnels with smooth walls piercing the ground. In some parts of Brazil and Argentina, there are hundreds of them, some of which are so big you could stand up in them. You would initially assume that they are straightforward caves, yet caves are created when water dissolves rock. These tunnels are unique because you can see claw marks all the way around the walls, evidently left by something with really large claws. Geologist Heinrich Frank claims that these strange passageways are very different from typical caves. The tunnels are long, sinuous, round, and of course, they have claw marks on the ceiling and sidewalls. Additionally, you can find them in non-dissolvable rocks such as sandstones and altered granitic rocks. The only issue is that there are no digging animals large enough to have dug these tunnels, the largest of which measures 2 meters, 6 feet tall, and 4 meters, 13 feet across, anywhere in the modern world. We need to look to the ancient giants to locate the culprit who burrows. That's right, these are paleoburrows, not simply regular burrows. The majority of the large animals that were alive during the Ice Age more than 10,000 years ago, mastodons, saber-toothed cats, and the somewhat rhinoceros-like Toxodon were not equipped for digging. Gigantic armadillos and giant ground sloths, however, were 2 groups of Ice Age creatures that were the appropriate size and had claws that matched the grooves in the tunnel walls. But the largest of the tunnels dwarf even the enormous armadillos. On the other hand, ground sloths were appropriately monumental. The biggest, like Megatherium and Eremotherium, were made for digging and could get as huge as rhinos. 2 distinct species of tunnels identified by the researchers were most likely made by at least 2 distinct sorts of diggers. More than 1,500 of these paleo burrows have been discovered in southern Brazil and Argentina over the last few decades. These tunnels were obviously crucial to the animals who constructed them. There are a lot of unanswered questions regarding the paleo burrows in addition to the identity of the diggers. For instance, it is unknown why they are so prevalent in southern Brazil but not further north, or their exact age. But they must be at least 10,000 years old given that the Ice Age giants died out at that time. In addition, it's unclear exactly what the creatures were doing or how long they had been utilizing the burrows. Brazil is indeed a land filled with mysteries. Number 6. Horrific death rituals of ancient Brazil. Ancient Brazilians subjected their deceased to horrifying ceremonies that included cannibalism and the removal of teeth and muscles from the body. The earliest proof that humans performed these rites on dead bodies has now been discovered by experts on the continent. These skulls were discovered in a Lagoa Santa cave named Lapa do Santo, which was first utilized as a burial site between 10,300 and 10,600 years ago. In a pit close below the cave's surface, anthropologists discovered the disembodied skull and jaw, together with the neck's first 6 vertebrae and 2 severed hands. They had limestone slabs covering them, indicating a thorough burial. The skull was unique compared to the other burials discovered in the cave and indicates that burial customs among these archaic humans were more elaborate than previously thought. With the right hand pointing down on the left side of the face and the left hand pointing upward on the right, the hands had been severed from the rest of the body and placed palm down over the face. Another researcher working on the project at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, Dr. Domingo Carlos Salazar Garcia, stated that the decapitation doesn't seem to have been a violent act. As determined by analysis of his beheaded skull, the young man was a member of the group of humans who inhabited the cave, rather than a vanquished foe it was first believed to be. The hands and skull's precise placement further hints that the disembodiment was performed as part of a ritual or ceremony. Small incision marks on the skull indicate that the soft tissue surrounding it was also removed before it was buried. The reason why humans began partaking in these horrible behaviors is not addressed by academics. However, certain tribes in Brazil would honor their dead by eating them, a practice known as endocannibalism. They thought it established a lasting bond with their kin. They would first reduce the body by cannibalism, defleshing, removing teeth, and mutilation. Then they would follow stringent guidelines for a second burial. Number 5. Creepy two-headed bat. It seems that 2 heads are not always better than 1. This attractive pair was discovered in the woodlands of the municipality of Viana in southeast Brazil. The male conjoined twins have been kept in a 70% ethanol solution since their discovery in 2001 in order to protect their tissue as they waited a thorough scientific evaluation. Thankfully, after spending years in the laboratory of Masto Zola, scientists from the State University of Northern Rio de Janeiro accepted the honor of examining this extremely valuable species. As their placentas were still joined to their shared bodies, the researchers surmised that the bats were either stillborn or passed away soon after birth. However, it's doubtful that they would have endured more than a few days in the harsh natural environment. The bats share 2 whole forelimbs and 2 complete hind limbs, just like a conventional bat, according to X-ray pictures taken by the researchers. They do, however, have 2 distinct spines that diverge into a single lumbar area at the bottom of the spine. Just so you know, they only have 1 penis. They do, however, have 2 distinct hearts of comparable sizes, according to ultrasound imaging. The twins belong to the neotropical fruit bats Artabeus genus, which includes 21 species of bats that are all indigenous to Central or South America. Surprisingly, this species is the 3rd instance of a conjoined bat that has been discovered, but we are aware of the phenomenon in few other animals. This is presumably due to how few of the animals survive. Conjoined twins usually result in death more than 80% of the time in humans. This mortality rate may be higher in other animals, and it makes us wonder if there are actual conjoined bats alive out there. Number 4. Ancient termite megapolis. Northeastern Brazil contains a massive complex of 200 million termite mounds that may be up to 4,000 years old and cover an area about the size of Great Britain, according to research. These mounds were created by a single species of termite that dug a vast network of tunnels to gain access to fallen leaves from the forest floor and to eat them safely. The amount of soil excavated is equivalent to 4,000 Great Pyramids of Giza and represents one of the biggest structures built by a single insect species. The conical mounds, some of which reach a height of 10 feet, are visible on Google Earth, but are mainly obscured from view at ground level by semi-arid, thorny scrub woodlands. Scientists became aware of the mounds when some of the fields were recently plowed for pasture, and others are still being erected. 11 mounds centers were sampled for soil, which was then dated and revealed that the mounds were built between 690 and 3,820 years ago. They are therefore almost equivalent in age to Africa's oldest known termite mounds. The cones of excrement that accumulated on the surface are the product of the insect's gradual and steady construction of a network of interconnecting underground tunnels, not nests, which gave rise to the mounds. Similar to naked mole rats, which also live in arid environments and dig very extensive burrow networks to seek food, the huge tunnel network appears to offer safe access to a sporadic food source. It's astonishing that a biological wonder of this scale and age, which is currently considered to be unknown, may still be found in existence and with its inhabitants thriving. The precise physical makeup of the termite nests is one of the several unresolved issues, according to the experts, about the termite colonies. The species queen chamber has never been discovered. Number 3. The glass frog. A brand new variety of Kermit-like transparent glass frogs were discovered in Costa Rica. Like Jim Henson's musical puppet, the lime green frog that swept the internet has bulging white eyes with spot-on black pupils. However, this frog is unable to sing. In fact, a new study suggests that its long whistle, resembling that of an insect, may be what kept scientists from noticing it for so long. The last glass frog was found in Costa Rica in 1973. The glass frog gets its name from its transparent, organ-showing bellies. However, scientists are still baffled by why it lacks color. The nocturnal frogs, on the other hand, use their green coloring to blend in with the undersides of leaves during the day. Although the new frog resembles Kermit, it is not quite as cute. Male glass frogs are very territorial, and they will fight any other males who intrude on their domain. It's cool to find a see-through frog, but most of us wouldn't want to see one first thing in the morning or last thing at night. Naturally, we wouldn't enjoy constantly having a frog's internal organs thrust in our faces. Or do you prefer that? Number 2. Terrifying bone-crushing reptile. A terrifying bone-crushing reptile that dined on early dinosaur carcasses 230 million years ago was discovered in Brazil. It is said to be related to modern crocodiles. The remarkably well-preserved D. colicensis remains were discovered in a so-called dinosaur graveyard at the foot of a hill in the picturesque Brazilian town of Agudo. The 7-foot-long monster was discovered in Agudo, a city in southern Brazil. Its name, which refers to its exceptional bite force, means strong croc. Its modest bite rate, however, would have indicated that it was a scavenger. Although it was probably a scavenger, the Deinosuchus colicensis possessed a long snout and tail, enormous jaws, and big blade-like teeth suitable for consuming flesh. The creature's back was covered in 2 rows of bone plates, and its skull resembled a T-Rex's. It was a member of a tribe known as the Ornithosuchids. It was the Tyrannosaurus rex of its era and walked on 4 legs while running on its 2 rear limbs. At a time when the earliest dinosaurs had just recently started to form, Deinosuchus, an approximately 7-foot-long animal, occupied the top position in the food chain. Number 1. A mapinguari. One of the strangest things ever discovered in Brazil is the mapinguari. In fact, it might not even be real. It has reportedly been seen as far south as Paraguay as well as in Brazil and Venezuela. In Brazilian folklore, it's the big hairy wildman, also known as the Juma. It is rumored to dwell in the Amazonian rainforest. Its name can be translated as the screaming monster, the fetid beast, the beast with the crooked foot, or any combination of these. Some say the creature is a cyclops with human features. The mapinguari's appearance, however, varies depending on the storyteller, yet it is often depicted with a gaping mouth on its belly. The creature is typically at least 7 feet tall when standing on 2 legs. It is said to be a dark crimson creature with a monkey's face and a gigantic bear's torso that is supposed to stalk the Amazonian jungle while trailing a cloud of flying beetles. Its erect mass is unsettlingly reminiscent of a human body. Its foul odor is said to come from the second mouth in its belly, and its roar sounds like never-ending thunder. Ornithologist David Oren stated that when you hear that, you want to move in the opposite direction because it's utterly terrifying. So is it real? Several people have reported experiences with the mapinguari, so many that a few years ago, a small group of scientists launched an expedition to look for the creature. Despite their failure to locate it, they did concur that encounters with the monster were probably with a large ground sloth. The Megatherium, or gigantic sloth, was larger than an elephant. It likely existed around 8,500 years ago, but it's believed to be extinct. The mapinguari is still only a legend that hasn't been proven, but many are still open to the possibility that it's out there yet to be discovered. Let us know what you think of these discoveries in the comments section below.